Doraemon, fully geared up, pulled a petri dish from the machine. What lay within wasn't poison, but an invisible strain of bacteria. Doraemon drew up a droplet of water with a pipette and promptly dropped it into the dish. Yet still, no reaction occurred. Doraemon then placed a paper strip inside, but still, no reaction happened. It turns out Doraemon was trying to cultivate a bacterium that synthesizes dorayaki so he could have an endless supply. But after trying for ages, there was still no reaction. Nobita picked up the petri dish. Doraemon warned him not to touch it with his hands. Just then, Nobita sneezed, blowing all the bacteria away. The next second, the dorayaki behind Doraemon also turned into gas. Doraemon was startled by the sight. It turned out these bacteria could turn dorayaki into air. Doraemon angrily declared he'd destroy them, but Nobita took the bacteria into his hands. What if we need them someday? Nobita's seemingly insignificant action would later save the Earth. Doraemon had to step out for a moment. After he left, Nobita secretly activated the bacteria generator. Before long, Nobita created a pile of unknown bacteria in the room. He placed a candy in a petri dish. The next second, the candy turned from blue to red. Nobita curiously picked up the candy to examine it. Then he popped it into his mouth to taste it. Soon his face turned red and hot, screaming, "It's spicy!" He spit fire from his mouth. The bacteria had transformed the candy into a spicy fruit. Nobita decided to try again. This time he placed a rubber band inside. Immediately, the rubber band transformed into something resembling a sea anemone. Picking one up, Nobita thought it looked like noodles. "Let's taste it," he said. The flavor was indescribably awful. Nobita then picked a piece of boogers from his nose. After tossing it into the petri dish, the booger instantly grew enormous. Then it stopped changing. When Nobita picked it up, he couldn't think of any use for it. Soon after, Nobita tossed his zero-score exam paper into the petri dish. Unexpectedly, the paper's material turned into steel. Nobita was terrified when he picked up the paper. How am I supposed to hide this now that it's so hard? In the end, Nobita cultivated many bacteria, but none of them proved useful. Then Nobita discovered that one type of bacteria could actually turn leaves into water. He dipped his finger in and found it surprisingly sweet. Nobita immediately went to the backyard to collect leaves, stuffing them all into a bucket. After adding the bacteria, he stirred and fermented the leaves until they turned into a bucket of leaf juice. Nobita took a cup to taste it. It was unexpectedly delicious. He then brought the leaf juice for his friends to try. Everyone praised it after tasting it. Nobita showed them his experiment. Sunio picked up Nobita's giant booger and sniffed it. He claimed it was black truffle and begged Nobita to give it to him. Sunio said he wanted to eat it with his family that night. After thinking it over, Nobita decided not to tell him. Jian picked up a petri dish and asked why it said matsutake. This is bacteria that grows matsutake mushrooms on pine cones. Just then, 2 pine cones appeared behind Nobita. After sprinkling some bacteria on the cones, matsutake mushrooms quickly sprouted. When Jian plucked one and held it to his nose, the mushroom released an incredibly foul stench. While real matsutake are fragrant, these bacteria-grown ones were putrid. Shizuka spotted a petri dish labeled glass popcorn. Giant snatched it and dumped all the marbles from his pocket inside. By the time Nobita tried to explain, it was too late. The next second, the marbles exploded, blowing the group into a panic as they fled. Nobita finally returned home with a gloomy expression. Upon entering, he noticed a petri dish moving. Opening the lid, he saw the dorayaki inside continuously growing larger. Wasn't this precisely the dorayaki bacteria Doraemon wanted? Meanwhile, Doraemon had already bought numerous dorayaki and returned home. Upon entering, Nobita eagerly showed off the giant dorayaki. But Doraemon noticed something amiss. This dorayaki would grow infinitely large upon contact with air. If left unchecked, it could eventually destroy the Earth. Doraemon frantically tried to destroy it, but the germicidal lamp had already been crushed by the dorayaki. The two had no choice but to flee the house and shut the door. Yet the dorayaki grew at an alarming rate, even causing the house to bulge outward. Just as the house was about to explode, the dorayaki seemed to vanish. Confused, they returned to the room to find yellow gas billowing from a petri dish on the table. It turned out to be the bacteria Nobita had left on the table earlier. It was this bacteria that transformed the dorayaki into air, thus averting the disaster. That was incredibly dangerous.